Now, if you struggle with an across the line shaft at the top of the backswing, you've clicked on the right video, because I'm going to show you exactly what causes that shaft to get across the line. And I'm going to show you two good little drills that will immediately fix those problems and get you swinging with a better shaft angle at the top of the backswing. So I'm Jonathan Chan with JChownGolf. Let's dive right into it. Now, an across the line shaft at the top of the backswing is such a common fault we see with a lot of players. Now, why that can be such a fault and so detrimental is because when we have an across the line shaft, that means we have to do a lot of work to be able to shallow the shaft in such a short space of time. What we generally see with players, we will see them get quite steep in their transition, just generally because they don't have enough time to shallow the club. So if we can have players getting them more down the line or slightly laid off, you can see from there, I don't need to do much to be able to shallow the shaft in the downswing, which then enables me to rotate and turn well through the golf ball. So ultimately, there's two key things that really dictate your shaft angle at the top of the backswing, and really what causes you to have quite an across the line shaft. It's one is how your right elbow, your trail elbow is moving, and two, how your lead wrist is moving. So with the trail elbow, we'll see people who struggle with an across the line shaft, their trail elbow will start pointing behind them at the top of the backswing here. So they could be coming back and their arm could be getting stuck behind them, getting in this position here. So you can see as soon as I push that elbow back, you see the shaft starts to get across the line, where conversely, as I pull it back in, you're going to see how that shaft naturally falls and shallows out and gets a little bit laid off. Now with the wrist angle as well, we can see the exact same thing's going to happen. If I get up to the top of the backswing here and I start to cup and extend my lead wrist, you're going to see how that shaft is now starting to go a little bit across the line. But then when I go flatter, it's going a little bit more down the line, and then flexing it, going a little bit more laid off. So you can clearly see there, we need to be able to really fix these two areas and make sure they're in a good spot to be able to have a good shaft angle at the top. So we're going to need, from seeing that visual, we're going to need to make sure the right arm is more in front of the body, it's not going behind, and we need to make sure that left wrist is in a good flat or slightly bowed position to fix that. As soon as we start to get that club shaft going across the line, you can see it already makes this extended or cupped with my left wrist and my right arm getting behind us. So let's get into some drills and what we've got to do. So the first drill we're going to dive into is all about your trail arm, and it's getting that trail arm so it can stay more in front of us, because we know if we start moving our trail arm, it's going to have immediate effect to the shaft pitch, and this is the most common one I see for golfers getting a little bit across the line. So this is a very simple drill. All we need is an old spare glove. That's all we need. So all we do with this, we stick it underneath our trail arm. Now we're going to get instant feedback to what our trail arm is doing. So if I disconnect with this arm and my elbow starts to point behind me, where's this going to go? It's going to fall down to the ground. So you may have seen tour players, for example, do drills very similar to this, where something's underneath their trail arm and they're just trying to keep it there the whole time. So now I'm just trying to keep this more underneath my arm here and really just try to keep it intact. So you can see as soon as I do that, what's happening to the shaft. It's getting in a much more, slightly laid off down the line type of position here. The only way for me now to get it across the line is to do something with my wrist angles. So if this is more of your problem here, guys, really just hit a few balls, really making sure you're just keeping this underneath your arm. As soon as you're doing a bad move, it's going to fall away every single time. So like any drill, we want to start off small, build our way up just to get the feeling. Let's hit some 3/4 ones, and then we'll go up to some big ones. So 3/4 ones, just keeping it underneath my arm. Really keeps you feeling nice and connected. You'll also feel that you'll start rotating a little bit more as well with this, because it will keep your upper body quite connected. Your arms connected to your pivot, so you'll feel a little bit more rotation. You'll probably hit some really good solid shots in there. You might feel a little bit kind of robotic going through the ball, but that's just because, like we said, your arms are more attached to your body. You're going to have a more free-flowing rotational move. So one more, full of swing, just trying to keep this underneath my arm. That is it, and that will sort out my arm movement for my shaft pitch, less across the line. So for the second drill here, now this is all about your wrist angle. So this is about, making sure we've got a flatter left wrist at the top of the backswing. We can't have it extended, because if it's extended from there, you're going to see, or cupped, you're going to see that shaft change. As soon as I flatten out that wrist, shaft angle changes. Then if I bow it again, shaft angle will change again. So this is, again, all we need is a glove, but instead of underneath our arm, we put the glove actually on this time. But now we just need a tee, and all we do, is my favorite feedback drill for wrist angles and trying to fix a cup left wrist, is all we do is get our tee, we put our tee in the front of our glove there on the logo side, and just put it into about 3/4 of the way into the glove. So now when you try to cup your wrist, you're going to feel that tee jabbing into your forearm. So you're going to get immediate feedback. And like you can see there, it's an old spare glove. I've got a hole right in the middle of it. So all we need to do here is make sure that we're swinging up and making sure we're not feeling any of this tee jabbing into our left forearm there. So we want to keep that constant throughout. And you can see if I'm doing that there, that shaft angle is going to be good. I'm going to try and cup it, and it hurts. So I don't really want to do it that much. So again, just like before, we'll go small, build our way up. So really just making sure we're feeling like we're having this tee just not jab into us one bit. So pain. As soon as we feel that pain, we're going to know we've done something slightly wrong. So now what we do, we build it up to a full swing just like before, keeping this so this tee is nicely on my forearm to where it's not jabbing into me. I could almost create a feel there where I could separate the tee from my forearm like this. If I show you guys from here, just separating it to where you can see that tee's just getting a little bit further away from there. You can see how that's making me now a little bit bowed at the top. So I'm definitely not going to be across the line there. So if I get that feel with a nice fuller swing, and let's hit the shot from there. So of course, like some of you may have been thinking, can you do both of them at the same time? Of course you can. So all I'm going to do, my other spare glove, I'm going to put that underneath my trail arm again. So I'm going to be getting the good trail arm movement, staying more in front of me, not going behind. And now I've got still got my glove on with a hole in it, and I've got the tee coming out as well. So if I wanted to really be dangerous there, I could do two at the same time, and then you can guarantee if I'm not having this tee jab into my forearm and I'm not dropping this underneath my right arm, I will for sure be having a better shaft angle at the top. I will know about it if my shaft angle gets across the line doing these. I really would. So definitely here, again, make sure we're doing it controllable. Make sure we're getting in the movements first. Let's hit a shot. So that really gets us in, ultimately, probably a laid off shaft from doing that, because we're trying so extreme not to be able to one drop this underneath our arm and not stab ourselves with the tee. So we're really going to be doing the opposite. And like we know, like if you watched a lot of my videos before, I really stress the importance of making sure you extreme the feel, or even do it the opposite way when you're practicing. So if you've gotten across the line shaft, almost feel like you're laid off, because then when you go play, you'll be right in the middle if you feel the same thing. So we go, one more there. So as we can see there, if we do those two drills, we'll be making sure that we will be having a better shaft angle at the top. Then it's all a matter of just drilling it and just repping it out. But to make a proper change in the golf swing, you need to do more than just hitting golf balls, getting in the moves we want. We need to be able to get perfect reps in without a golf ball too. So these are called dry drills. Now, to do this dry drill, to get the perfect reps in, we just need a golf club and we need an alignment stick. But we can do it without an alignment stick too. So I'll show you that at the end. So all we do, we grip our alignment stick. Now we grip it in our left hand and grip it up the lead hand side of the golf club. Now I'm going to see my shaft angle through my backswing by this end of the stick. So you see I've got a big jotting out here. So if I'm getting in a good shaft angle here, so I'm not across the line, I'll either be having it pointing dead behind me, like pointing at the camera there at you guys, so that'll be more of a down the line shaft, or I have it slightly pointing away, being slightly laid off. Now you can see if this stick starts to point away, one, you can see all these positions have just started to occur. My left wrist is cupped and my right arm's gone away from me, but this stick is pointing behind me. So all we want to be doing is making sure we're going and completing up our backswing, making sure you can be thinking of the stick pointing relatively to the ground, or you could also have like an imaginary ball here, but obviously not hit it because this is one without a ball, is have this stick point down the ball line for quite a long time, and then making sure as we get up to the top of the backswing that this stick is pointing just a little bit away from behind us, so just a little bit away and in front of us. Now if we do a lot of reps of that, we'll be making sure we'll be getting in the perfect move there for a better shaft angle, and then we can practice the downswing feels at the same time, getting the stick to point away from us as we're turning down to make sure that shaft is shallowing. But like we said at the very beginning, a shaft angle being across the line is a problem because it will cause you to get steep and you won't have enough time to shallow the club. When we're at that better shaft angle, that will immediately help us get shallower in the downswing. I see so many people, as soon as we really fix that shaft angle, they'll immediately start shallowing it, and something they thought they could never do, and it's more the shaft angle that's actually stopping them from shallow the shaft. So just make sure this is pointing away from you or behind you, but don't have it pointing in this direction here. We don't want that. We just want to be getting there so it's slightly pointing away and then pointing in front of us in the downswing to get the downswing reps too. So guys, if you follow this video, you make sure you do the drills with the golf ball and the drills without. I can guarantee you'll be fixing your across the line shaft in no time. And now you know the reasons why it happens as well. That's crucial to be able to properly fix a problem. We need to understand why we do it and obviously know exactly how to practice it. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click that like button. And if you want more golf instruction just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video. So really get practicing on this and your shaft angle at the top of the backswing will be better in no time.